Okay, we're going to continue on. The first page of my book, I teach the blood types and the creation story, the real creation story, that it's not quite written right in the King James Version, but they did the best that they could, the people that did the translation. Now, on the 6th day after the Catapole, God took the clay from the earth and created the hunter-gatherers, the Gentiles, the people with the O blood, the people that can't deal with calcium. They get kidney stones real bad when they try to drink milk, or they got lactose problems. Now the people with the A blood can't digest red meat. God created them to be fishermen. The people of Asia, A blood. Yeah, that's the first page of my book, God's Truth. It's available at Durant's Publishing, Amazon Kindle, Barnes Noble, and Amazon and iBook from the Apple. Now, my book's got 364 of the greatest teaching prophecies out of the Bible, in my humble opinion. And then I tell you what the words mean at the bottom of the page, and I tell you what the numbers mean in biblical numerics. So then I leave it up to you to read these great scriptures out of the Bible that I picked, 364 of the greatest that I could find. And then I tell you what the words and what the numbers mean. So that's how my book goes, God's Truth. But the first page, I teach the creation story. Now on the 6th day after the Catapole, that'd be 8,000 years ago, God created flesh man. And then on the 7th day, he created the Gentiles on the 6th day. The people with the O and the A blood type, the hunter-gatherers and the fishermen. On the 7th day, God rested. And then on the 8th day, God created the farmer, the husbandman, the tillers of the dirt, the Jews, the people with the B blood type. The descendants of Mother Mary, Jesus' mother. And then 2,000 years ago, the Holy Spirit mixed with Mother Mary with the B blood type and created the AB blood type, royal blood. And then God anointed the kings and the queens of the ethnic people with the AB blood type, like the Queen of England and the King of England. They have AB blood. The Tsar of Russia and his family had the AB blood. King Louis had the AB blood. All these kings and queens, the King and Queen of Belgium, all these kings and queens have the AB royal blood type, created 2,000 years ago when the Holy Spirit mixed with Mother Mary with the B blood type. And if you read the Old Testament, we're going to talk about Ruth right now. Ruth is the next chapter in the Bible that we're going to cover. And Ruth married Salmon, one of the two spies, and she had Boaz. And Boaz had Jesse, or had Obed. And Obed had Jesse, and Jesse had King David, and King David had Nathan. Solomon's not in the bloodline of Christ. He's in the bloodline of Joseph, Mother Mary's husband, but Jesus, his father, is God, conceived by the Holy Spirit. So, the bloodline of Christ is Mother Mary's bloodline. The bloodline of Joseph doesn't have anything to do with the birth of Christ. That's Matthew 1. Solomon's in the bloodline of Joseph, but Solomon's not in the bloodline of Christ. Mother Mary's bloodline is Luke 3. So you can look in Luke 3 for the bloodline of Christ, and Matthew 1 might mix you up. That's the bloodline of Joseph. Read carefully how you read Matthew 1. Now, Ruth, like I said, was the only Moabite in the bloodline of Christ. Now let's read the book of Ruth. Now it came to pass, this is Ruth 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land. And a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab, he and his wife and his 2 sons. And the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his 2 sons Mahlon and Chilion, Ephraimites of Bethlehem, Judah. And they came into the country of Moab and continued there. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with her 2 sons. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. And the name of one was Oprah, and the other Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. And Mahlon and Chilion died also, both of them. And the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. And she arose with her daughter-in-law that she might return from the country of Moab. For she had heard in the country of Moab how the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her 2 daughters-in-law with her. And they went on the way to return into the land of Judah. And Naomi said unto her 2 daughters-in-law, Go, return each of her mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you, as ye have dealt with the dead, and with me. And the Lord grant you that ye may find rest, each of you, in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. And they said unto her, Surely we will return with thee unto thy people. And Naomi said, Turn again, my daughters. Why will ye go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? Turn again, my daughters, go your way. For I am too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons, would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes, that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. And they lifted up their voice and wept again. And Oprah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. And she said, Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and to her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God. Whereas thou didst, and I die, and there will I be buried. And the Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught be death part thee and me. When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, that she left speaking unto her. So the 2 went until they came to Bethlehem. And it came to pass, Bethlehem is a city of bread, where they ground the grain for Jerusalem. And it came to pass, when they were come to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them. And they said, Is this Naomi? And she said unto them, Call me not Naomi, but call me Mara, for the Almighty hath dealt bitterly with me. And I went